Hey folks, well welcome to our first full day of Sesshin, and we're going to start with our body practice part slowly, and it being the first day, there's no sense doing really intense stretching because we don't want to stir the body up too much. We want to ease it in. So we want to just start with some warm-ups and kind of activity to soften the body, and then as the week goes on, we'll get more intense with it. So let's just begin. You might want to be near a wall or something you can grab onto because we're going to begin with circling the ankles. And if you've got balance issues, or just if it's tricky for you to balance today, you might need something to lean on. We're just going to start from the ground up, working the body a little bit and softening it. That's the right ankle for me, but you can go in any order that pleases you. And we're doing the other one now. Circling in one direction, circling in the other. And do a little pointing and flexing. And then let's work our way up to the knees. And we're just going to do some gentle circling of the knees in one direction. It's always good, if you can manage it, to time the breath to the movement because it inherently makes it meditative. So for me, it might be one circle's an inhale, one circle's an exhale. Your rate might be a little bit different, other direction. But it keeps us close to the breath and keeps us tuned into the body. Okay, let's do the hips now. I'm just going to circle in one direction. Same thing, we can time it to the breath. Inhaling, maybe one circle, exhaling the other. We don't need to go to our full range of movement for today. Let's just soften and warm up the body. It's definitely possible to overdo in warming up and stretching in the early days. So, having been through a lot of discomfort in sitting, let's do the other direction. I found it's wise to start slow. So we don't have to push to our full range of motion. We don't have to push at all. Let's try figure eights with the hips. Again, timing it with the breath. And you might find some little spots that you want to work into where there's holding or tension. Just do so gently. And if you haven't already done so, figure eights in the other direction. Okay, so here's a little twisting activity that I like a lot. And what we're going to do is we're going to swing the arms and twist from the waist, but we're going to turn our foot out in the direction we're twisting. Like so. And that keeps us from over twisting the back, but we still get a nice warm up with the shoulders, arms, waist, lower back. and you can speed it up and just let the arms swing. Again, timing it to the breath is helpful. If you're accustomed to doing body practice, of course, you can always be a little more vigorous with any of the moves we're doing, or add your own variations in. And see if you can really let your arms and shoulders just really have a feeling of swinging free. Let's slowly slow down. You might notice that my hands are striking the front of the shoulder and near the kidney. That's a method that comes from Qigong, of stimulating the adrenals, which are by the kidneys, and the long points, which are in front of the shoulders. You can do that if it feels good. Okay. Let's shake out the legs a little bit, one by one, just to the degree that feels good to you. First one, then the other. Again, you might need a wall or something to lean against. Go back and forth with them a little bit, whatever feels good. Okay, let's work with the shoulders a little bit. So I like to start with circling them both together forward just a few times. We're mostly going to want to circle them back because forward accentuates our natural tendency to curve over. However, it's definitely good to go both directions, so we'll do a few forward. And then we'll do some more back. And see if we can inhale as we're lifting the shoulders up, rolling them back, exhaling. And when they roll back, if it feels good, you can bring them together a little bit. Also on the inhale, lifting the chest. So lifting the chest, shoulders, exhaling, dropping. You can feel your own way into what feels good with this. Now for a real challenge, one forward and the other back. There we go. See if you can do one shoulder rolling forward, the other back. It's not easy, but it does work things in quite a different way. Probably feel that at the base of the neck. And then the other way. And then let's try this. If you put your hands on your shoulders like this, and you circle them backwards. All of this has a lot to do with the neck and upper back. Just loosening them up, not forcing anything, but we can just get some circulation and some softening going there. And let's finish with just some straight up and down shoulder shrugs. And if you like, you can do them slowly if that feels good, but a lot of people find that dropping them is helpful. But do what feels right for your body. You don't have to push it too far. So inhaling up and dropping or settling them down, whatever feels good. You might be surprised how many of these you can do. Towards making the base of the neck and the shoulders feel better. There's a yoga system I've done that has you do these 108 times. Now that might be a little excessive, but 20 or 25 might get really good results on getting those shoulders to release. Okay, let's do the neck now. There's a mnemonic device for remembering these 3 primary neck movements, and it was told to me by a chiropractor a long time ago. I used it ever since. It's yes, no, maybe so. So those are the 3 movements. We'll start with the nodding, yes. So take care of your neck, because necks are sensitive things. You don't have to look up or tilt your head back if that doesn't feel good. Or you can do as much tilting back as feels good. I'd suggest if you are tilting the head back, that you lift the chest and inhale as the head goes back and feel into extending the neck. So it's not crunching over the base of the skull upon the upper vertebrae. It's more like the head's pointing back towards the junction of the wall and the ceiling. So it's stretching backwards as it bends. So that's the yes move. Now the no move. I find with the no move, shaking the head, it's helpful to inhale at center and exhale over one shoulder. Inhale back, exhale over the other shoulder, inhale back, and so on. Again, these neck movements benefit from a fair amount of repetition. And again, I wouldn't suggest going to the extreme of your range of motion. There's no reason to. We're just trying to loosen everything up today. We can get more into stretching a little more intensely in the coming days. I've definitely made the mistake of trying to do ultra vigorous stretching the first day or just even the first evening, and the body just hasn't settled in yet, and it tends to be a little too much, and it actually can make the body rebel. It can make it more painful to sit. So obviously our objective is not that. Okay, and then the maybe so move. You don't have to do this with your hands, it just illustrates it. So again, exhaling to one side, inhaling, exhaling to the other side. And again, this is a bending over of the head and neck, but it's also an extension to the degree that feels comfortable for you. You're extending the crown of the head towards where the wall joins the ceiling while you bend it. So it's not a smushing the skull on top of the vertebrae. I think if you go slow and time it to the breath, you'll be able to feel that, and just let your shoulders do whatever they like. If they want to rise a little bit with the movement, we're just going to let them do what they want today. Okay, and then I'd like to do a few circles with the neck. Again, if you have neck issues, you might just want to go forward and not back. If you do go back, please be gentle with it. If you're not going to go back, if you're going to be conservative, then we just go across and circle around like this. If you want to go back again, lift the chest, think about extending the neck. Actually, don't think about extending the neck, do extend the neck. And don't think about anything. And if you feel a place where you want to just stop and work it a little bit, you can do that. Like here for me, I'm feeling a real pull across here. I'm just going to gently work that a little, and then we can do neck circles in the other direction. Okay, so why don't we just shake out the shoulders and arms a little bit, the head a little bit. I want to do a few very simple stretches for the back and front of the body. And these are, there's a couple variations you can do. The simplest one is like this, just to put one hand across to the other arm like that. If you can't reach, you can just do to your belt or whatever. The idea is just that we're just going to stretch the front of that shoulder a little bit. Again, gently. If it feels okay to you, the more full stretch would be like this, grabbing each elbow on either side. Some people won't be able to do that probably, so it's fine to just do the one-handed or to grab the belt. The object is to just lift the chest a little bit, bring the shoulder blades together a little, open the fronts of the shoulders just a little for today, not too much. Again, using the breath, the chest has a tendency to lift on the inhale, and that accentuates the stretch a little bit. And on the exhale, you can just relax into the position. So again, we're not going all the way to our full limit of motion. Now, if you're doing the one-arm version, obviously you'd want to swap. If you're doing the two-armed version, you can just swap the position of the arms, so the other one is in front. I don't know how to explain that, but hopefully you can see it. And again, we're just on the inhale, lifting the chest a little, drawing the shoulder blades a little bit back. Exhale, we just settle into that position. As we're moving into these simple arm and shoulder movements, a little more complex than what we've done before, it's good to really bring your attention to the hara, your center of gravity point. Let's shake out the arms again and shoulders. I'd like us to do just a little bit with upward reaching. So the way it works is we're going to lift our arms, and once they're lifted, we're going to join like that and turn them over and stretch toward the ceiling. So for the first time, let's just on an inhale lift up, join the hands, flip them over, and we're stretching upward. And to protect the lower back, it's good to draw your navel in towards your vertebra, towards your spine. If it feels good to look up, then please do so, and we're just stretching straight upward. You can combine a little bit of a back bend, only if that feels good, only if you're drawing in your lower belly to protect your lower back. And then exhale, drop the arms. This time, I'd like us to do the same thing, but we're going to combine a stretch to one side and then to the other. And in this case, it's really important to protect your lower back by really drawing in the belly, and that also has the advantage of really giving you a sense of the hara, which of course we work with a lot in Zazen, and I really encourage us to do everything we can to let our attention drop there, because Zazen is actually more a physical practice than it is a mental practice. So we need to be in the body. So this is an opportunity to practice that in a different way. So again, we'll inhale, join the hands, flip them up, reach upward. We can take a breath or two here. You can drop your arms, of course, at any time. Drawing the belly in towards the lower back. On an exhale, we'll go to one side, stretching towards that corner where the ceiling meets the wall again. Take a breath or two here, drawing in lower belly. Come back to the center. Take a breath here, stretching upward. We'll do the other side. Couple breaths here, back towards the center, stretching upward, maybe a little bit back if that feels good. On an exhale, you can drop the arms. So, from Qigong, I've got this movement, which is kind of fun, and you can find your own intensity to do it at. It's called rattling the bones. And it's just shaking out the whole body after you've done some standing stretches and standing warm-ups like this. And you can start slow, or if you've done this before, or if it feels good to you, you can get as wild as you want with it. So it's like this, it's really rattling the bones. It's moving all the joints and all the bones. You can go slower. It helps to look silly. Okay. Pretty ego practice to look foolish, always. Okay, just shaking everything out. This feels good. Okay. Any residual shaking of legs or arms separately? It's always good. So I'd like us to go to the floor. Just do one or two simple things at floor level, and then a little relaxation exercise. The sequence, moving from the feet, the ankles, all the way up to the neck and to the upward reaches. It's a great sequence for the morning to wake up the body, gently warm it up. Doesn't have to be an intense wake up. In fact, in the morning, I find it's better not to. So you probably know all this. You probably have seen this one before, all of you. This is called tabletop position. And what we're going to do is called cat-cow. And this is the cat with the arched back. And this is the cow with the back in the other direction. The usual way to do it is inhale into the cat. Exhale into the cow. But you can find your own way. You might find that you want to do it exactly the opposite. Again, this is one of those movements that you can do many times. And see when you come into the cow, the humped position. Is that right? Or is the cow the other way? Anyway, whichever it is. Now this is the cat, yeah, and this is the cow. So when you're in the cow, you try not to have the whole bend just in your lower back. See if you can bring it into the upper back and chest. And when you're arched up like the cat, you see if you can bring some of that arch into the lower back. So that it's not all just in the upper back. Okay, and then We'll just take a relaxation pose for just a minute or two. And this is child's pose. A lot of you probably know it. This is one version with the legs spread, arms stretched out in front. Head can go to the ground if it can. If it can't, it doesn't have to. Or you can stick a cushion under it. And this is just a rest pose. We just release to gravity. And we can continue this sense of relaxation by going to corpse pose. Those of you who do yoga know what this is. Just lying on your back. If you need a support under your head, you can do that. We're just going to do a brief corpse pose. The idea is you're not going to be holding on to that tension when you're a corpse. So this is good training for that. And we're just going to briefly take our attention through the body, head to toe. So on an inhale, bringing the attention into our head, our face, our jaw, area around our eyes. Exhale, give into gravity. Just let the skull, scalp, face relax. Let gravity pull it down. On an inhale, bringing attention to the upper shoulders and neck and throat. On an exhale, just let gravity take it. Releasing. Next inhale, chest, breastbone, shoulder blades, upper back. Really feel the air go into all those areas, upper arms as well. Exhale, just release. Just let gravity take it. Inhale, mid-back, mid-abdomen, stomach area, some of the internal organs. We won't get too detailed about that, but just inhaling, feeling that area, exhaling, letting it release, relax against the ground. It's as though the tension's draining into the ground. Inhaling, pelvic area, lower back, area of the intestines, hips, pelvis, all of that. You can always skip any area if it makes you uncomfortable to bring your attention there. Otherwise, inhaling into that area, exhaling, let gravity take it, just let it settle. Inhaling hips, thighs, down to the knees, hamstrings, quadriceps, thigh bone. Exhaling, let it sink against the ground. Inhaling, knees, lower legs, ankles, feet. Almost as though they're slightly inflating. And then exhaling, just let them sink. And now whole body inhale, just a sense of the whole body on the inhale. As though the whole body, as though you can almost feel the oxygen going to every cell. on the inhale, and on the exhale, every cell's exhaling. They're all just releasing, sinking into the mat, carpet, ground, however you're lying. And just take another breath or two, sinking a little more deeply with each breath. Each exhale. The exhale is the relaxation phase of the breath. We can use that consciously if we bring our attention to it. Okay, and then we'll be back in the Zendo in a few minutes, so I will leave you all to make such preparations as are necessary, or take another minute or two to enjoy the relaxation. We'll do more tomorrow. Thank you.